Good morning, people watching digitally. My apologies, I did not hit record in the first 30 seconds, but you didn't miss anything other than me talking about myself, and now we're recording. Okay, so again, my name is Jason Anderson. I am going into my 6th year here at Jefferson High School, which is amazing. It's gone by that fast. How many of you have had older students already come through high school? Okay, maybe 15%, so you may have had a kid who's known me, or we may know each other, but welcome. For all of you who this is your first kid in high school, I know the number one thing that you're thinking to yourself, you're lamenting that you are now old enough to have a high school age student. You've reached that age. I used to be able to make fun of you for that, but I now have a junior daughter in high school, so that's hurt me as well. I am always at your beck and call, beck and service. Hopefully you already started getting my emails like the one today. We'll talk a little bit more about masks and COVID later, but hopefully you are already receiving my communiques. I try to keep them relevant and not blast you all the time with emails, but hopefully you find them valuable. All right, Justin Hall is my assistant principal over here. He works with a lot of things around scheduling and registration. And then he also supports students whose last name is A through L. So if your last name is A through L, Mr. Hall is your guy. Miss Jarvis, who does a lot of teacher and student support, she also works with students with the last names M through Z. So if your last name is M through Z, Miss Jarvis is your point person. Miss Alberg, Megan Alberg over here, is Dean of Students, and she works with everyone in the building. And it's a lot more, all three of these folks, it's a lot more than, it's certainly a lot more than discipline. It's all folks around student support and success. And Chad Nyberg, our activities director, again, unfortunately, could not be here. What's that? It'll go like in a second, probably. All right, so, again, if this is your first foray into high school, this is your first student coming into high school, there's so much fear and anxiety, and of course our current world does not help with any of that. But I want to tell you, number one, we are here to work together and take care of your kid. Your kid will be successful here, they will be happy here, they will find a place and a voice here. We work together on that, I guarantee you those things will happen. 9th grade, this is a philosophy that I began to develop a handful of years ago. I am a firm believer that 9th grade is the most important year of high school. And I also believe that 9th grade may be the most important of all of K through 12. Because it's the first year of so many things. First year in your last building. First year where credits count. First year we often make those lasting relationships. First year in which you get involved in some serious sports, activities, clubs, etc., etc. And it's the first year that at the end of the year, if you're doing well, I can almost guarantee you 10 through 12 is going to go well. So that's how important 9th grade is. That's not a pressure statement, that's a reality statement. That's let's just be very open eyes in understanding how important 9th grade is. Please push your student to get involved outside the classroom. Be active, find clubs, find connections. There are so many things to get involved with. You watched 2 of them as you walked in, cheer and drumline. We've got an amazing band program, we got amazing athletic programs, we've got clubs, we've got, things that are serious with like 6-month, year-long commitments to things that are just casual drop-in because you're just finding them interest. You'll find connections, you'll find a common group of kids, people that you can all bond together. So when challenges arise, and I'm not naive enough to think that as well as I think we operate, as a good school I think we have, that there won't be some challenges for some of you along the way. But when challenges do arise, whether it's peer-to-peer, student-teacher, what have you, try these things. I encourage you to do these 3 things in this order. Encourage your student to try to work it out themselves. I know as a parent, you want to take care of your kid, you want to protect him, you want to keep him safe. 100% get it, agree, believe in that. But I think a little bit of a push to try to get them to resolve that issue themselves goes a long way to them finding their own voice and their own self-determination. If that doesn't work out, discuss the concern with the primary adult. Classroom, it's a teacher. Sport, it's the coach, maybe an advisor for a club. If it's with a peer, the primary adult would be an assistant principal or dean. So encourage, discuss that with the primary adult. And at the end of the day, if nothing else seems to work out, you can always come to me. Even though there's an order of operations a little bit, I'm always here to help. Whether I get directly involved, connect with the right person, what have you. Parents, I know firsthand, once your kid gets to high school, it becomes, you've done K through 8 of being hyper involved. And you want to stay involved, but your time is precious. And you want to trust your kid that if it's going well, great. And if it's not, they'll let you know, or you'll find out. Like, I understand all those things. But stay connected. Again, we try to be thoughtful with our communications. Accessing the JHS website, check your student's campus, social media, again, fun stuff. If you just want to see what like a peek inside of high school is like from time to time, I document a whole bunch of things on Twitter and Instagram. But stay connected. We will reach out if there's a concern, of course, but the more connected you are, the more your kid will feel like it's a 360. We're surrounding them with love and kindness and accountability. I'm guessing that's not gonna. Activities and athletics, again, this would have been Mr. Nyberg's slide, but just another reminder that we have a ton of activities, sports that your student can get involved in. Seasonal, yearly, whatever the case may be. It's not too late right now to get involved in something, or at least to keep to put your eye on something and get involved in it when that next season comes around. We already have, 1/3 of our students are already registered for a sport or activity. That's before school has even started. That's awesome. We have about 1,700 students here at Jefferson High School, so about 1/3 are already involved in a sport or activity. It's awesome. If you want to be a fan, there are season passes to come and watch and cheer and support. $35 for a student, $70 for an adult, which can be purchased in the activity office. Again, the only thing we tell students and families a little bit, but especially students, whenever you come to a sport activity, you are representing Jefferson. In fact, when you're on the field, on the stage, behind that instrument, you are representing Jefferson. So we're the best, so we want you to represent the best, which we know you will. Another more social media, Mr. Nyberg runs activities Twitter at Jeff Jaguars. All right, I think I am done. I'll be back in a little bit.
Good evening. My name is Justin Hall, and I'm one of the assistant principals. I work primarily with students' last names A through L, and I also work largely on the scheduling piece of the building, so student schedules, teacher assignments, all that type of stuff is one of my main jobs during the summer. We are really excited to have all you here. Students, we are excited to have you joining us. Students, you have an awesome opportunity in front of you. You are going to a great high school. I can say that like Dr. Anderson said because I went here. I've worked here, so I have a lot of different perspectives. You are going to a great high school, and you have a ton of different opportunities, whether it's the athletics, activities, but you just have an opportunity to get connected with our awesome teachers who are ready to support you and help you achieve whatever the goals are that you have for high school and beyond that. So take advantage of those opportunities, and you're going to have a great high school experience. Real quick, just to go through some logistics, if you didn't get a chance to pick up a calendar out in the back, you can grab one of those on your way out. This calendar not only tells you which days we're in school, any of the ones that are shaded gray or yellow, those are going to be days that we have class. The yellow days tells you which days are block days. And so on full 5-day weeks, on Wednesday and Thursday, we will have a block schedule. And if you take a look on the back of that calendar, it shows you what the different schedules look like. So the Monday, Tuesday, Friday schedule is a 6-period schedule. You go to all 6 of your classes, and you can kind of see the times there. Classes are about an hour, a little less than an hour. And then on Wednesday and Thursdays, we have a block schedule. So on Wednesdays, you'll go to classes 1, 3, and 5. And on Thursday, you'll go to classes 2, 4, and 6. This gives teachers the opportunity to maybe do some larger group projects. If you're in a family consumer science class or a tech ed class or a science class where you want to have more, teachers want to have more time to be able to do a lab, or larger activities, those block days provide that opportunity. Also included in that block schedule, between period 1 and 3 on Wednesday, we have an advisory time. For freshmen, this will be a time where our Pathfinder group will get to meet with you, give you some advice about navigating through high school. This will also be a time where you'll get a chance to work on your professional growth plans, or personal growth plans, sorry, to be able to start thinking about what your plans are for after high school. So that advisory time is on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, during the time between periods 2 and 4, we have an academic seminar. This is an opportunity where teachers can select you to come into their classroom and provide either additional instruction or some type of enrichment opportunity. There's some flexibility there where teachers have the opportunity to work with a smaller group of students and be able to provide a little extra support or an opportunity to have some enrichment. The next piece here is just giving you some information about different ways, especially parents, that you can stay connected and access information about what's going on here at school. So a main place where you can find a ton of information is our Jefferson website. So the address is up there. When you get there, over on the left-hand side, there are a number of different links that will connect you to other resources. So this is great for both students and parents. There are links there that will take you to just a number of resources. One that I like to point out, because I work with the scheduling and the registration process that we'll do in the middle of the year, the counseling tab here does have all of our registration materials. So when we get to January, February, just know that a lot of the things that we'll be referencing are available on our Jefferson website. The other thing about our Jefferson website is that it can also be the place that you get into all of the information that is specific to your child or students. It's your way to get logged into all of the different systems and things that you'll be using, like Google Docs, like your Gmail, like your Canvas page. So up on the top of all of our Bloomington pages, there's a tab for BPS login. This is kind of the one-stop shop where parents, if you go there, click on that, you'll see if you don't have login information, there's a link on the bottom that you can click on to be able to create your account, and that will give you access to one of the primary systems that we use, which is called Infinite Campus, and that is where parents and students can view things like attendance, all of your transcripts. There will be information there about grades, although we also have some other ways to access that information. But this is our student information system, and that Infinite Campus parent portal is definitely something that you'll want to be able to get into and be able to access that specific information about your child. Next, we are going to take a look at another resource called Canvas.
Hi everyone, good evening. Hi, thanks for saying hi back. I'm Carrie Jarvis, I'm one of the assistant principals along with Mr. Hall. I'm glad to see you all here tonight. We are going to talk a bit about the Canvas Parent Portal. This is a live link, but you don't have access yet, but you will. So Dr. Anderson's going to send this out, parents, and then what you can do is just click the link. It'll show you how to get onto the Canvas Parent Portal. It's very confusing because there's Canvas and Campus. So Canvas is what your student will use, which replaces Google Classroom, Moodle, if you've heard of that. That's where all of their learning will take place. And you can access all these things as a parent now in one easy spot. So when you click on that link, which you'll get soon, it'll walk you through the whole system and how to do that. So this is what that page looks like when you get there, and you'll see you can pair things with your student. So your student will have a code, you pair with that code, and then it just automatically uploads for you to follow their schedule, which is really nice. You get all the classes right away, so you don't have to go in and pick each class. And then you have a bunch of account options as parents, and then you have your own login. So it's pretty slick, and there is an app. You can get it right on your phone. It has all the information you need in one place. So this is just kind of what the app looks like. You can set it so, if your student's grade dips below a certain amount, it will send you an alert. If they're missing assignments, it will send you an alert. So you get to customize it for yourself and your family. Okay, on to the most riveting topic of the evening would be the student handbook. This can be found online. It's very dry and very boring, but it's really important, students, that you're familiar with what's in the handbook. You are responsible for knowing what's in the handbook and abiding by our policies, so it's a really good idea to pay attention to that. To that end, the website isn't updated yet, so this new version isn't on there quite yet. There's a glitch in the tech office, so hopefully by tomorrow it will be up, but it doesn't change much from the last year. So if you really want to get on there, you can see it right away. And students, the first few days of school, we will go over the handbook with you. We'll highlight some things that you need to know to help to make sure that it's there. But parents, this is a great guide, 47 pages of all the things you need to know about Jefferson. And of course, attendance is always important. The biggest change, parents, from high school to middle school with attendance is we don't take notes. So don't write a note for your child and have them bring that note to the office. We take phone calls only. We are working on a possible online system to make sure that you can get attendance in that way, but for now it's just a phone call. The phone is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can leave a message. You can also sign up to get a robocall, so you'll get a call if your child is missing a class. You'll also get an email, but attendance, no more handwritten notes for students, just phone calls. I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Megan Albert, Dean of Students, and she's going to talk about our upcoming Pathfinders Day.
All right, good evening and welcome. So as you probably know, hopefully you know, tomorrow's Wednesday, Thursday, September 2nd at 8 to 12:30 in the main gym, we're going to have our Pathfinders, which are some of our upperclassmen come and meet with our incoming 9th graders and do some team building, some activities, get some tours around the building. So we're hoping to see you there. They'll also come into advisory most weeks and do some activities during those block days in advisory with our 9th graders. And then for the start of the school year, a few things to highlight. Our first day of school is Wednesday, September 8th, so we'll see you here at 7:50 a.m. We are running a 6-period day that day, but it will be a special schedule. So we're gonna have a pep fest in between the second and third hour out on the turf to welcome everybody back. And you'll report right away though in the morning to your first hour of class. I've heard a lot already questions about when lunch is going to be. When do I eat lunch? We have 3 lunches here at Jefferson. Go right to your 4th hour class, and then your 4th hour teacher will let you know which lunch you'll eat for the rest of the trimester. A few other dates to highlight. We have Picture Makeup Day, Friday, September 17th. If you were unable to make it to Jumpstart to get your picture taken, September 17th is when you do that. Homecoming is coming up right at the beginning of October, our homecoming game, October 1st, and the dance, October 2nd. And then we have Picture Retake Day a little bit later into the month. Dr. Anderson's going to talk about the parking lot.
How did I get that strong? All right. So if you've been here before, an older, this diagram's awfully muddy. I didn't make it, but the parking lot was built. It's a 50-year-old building. Was not built for the flow of traffic that exists in 2020. So I'll say 2 things. Number 1, we do our best to try to follow a flow that is at least safe. Well, I know it's a low bar, but it's at least safe. Not least safe. That sounds bad, but at least it is safe, our system. The orange blocks represent school buses. So in the mornings and afternoons, the school buses pick up and drop off right by the activity center, which is cardinal direction, that direction, if you've been in the activity center. So what that prevents you from doing, both student drivers and parents, is cutting through the Johnson Ave entrance and then cutting through all the way to the 102nd Street. That's is this record if it goes to sleep? Hopefully it does. Okay. So that's the major thing to know when you're picking up and dropping off, that you can't cut through the Johnson Ave to 102nd when buses are there. They'll literally block off that kind of corner there. For the flow, by and large, you come in on the 102nd exit, you do a U, you exit. I will say this, and I acknowledge that for about the first, from like 7:40 to 7:48, it's crowded. From 2:38 to about 2:45, it's crowded. It is, I apologize, but it's just something to be, it's just something to keep in mind. It's really crowded for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then it loosens right up. So just calculate that as far as your time, maybe to get to work or back from work or what have you, to other responsibilities. That there's not a whole much we can do at this point, but it's slow. That 10 minutes right before school starts, 10 minutes till when school dismisses. That flow is just a good thing to be aware of. All right, and I'm going to introduce Ms. Becky Waller, one of our counselors.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. We are so lucky, I think, at Jefferson to have 5 licensed school counselors. I am one of them. My name is Becky Wallerick, and it is an amazing school, you guys. You are going to love it here. Can't say it enough. The counselors are here for you. I just want to start out by saying we all love you. We think you're amazing, and we're going to help you have the best time ever in high school. So start there. We have 4 counselors who have different parts of the alphabet, so you can see their pictures on the screen. Miss Ashley Miller is the beginning of the alphabet, Karen Erickson. We have a long-term substitute counselor who's going to be here 2 trimesters this year. Her name is Wendy Clute. Her picture isn't there yet. She's amazing as well. So she'll be here first trimester, covering for that middle part of the alphabet. And then we have Catherine Kretzmeyer, who is the end of the alphabet. She'll be out second trimester, and then Wendy will take her place. And then our counselor, Miss Everett, will be back. So if there's any confusion about that, it will all be on the website, and you can always stop into the counseling office, which is right over here when you walk in the door. If you just turn to the right, you'll find the counseling office, and they're there to help you. I am also here to help you. I work with all 1,700 students here at the high school, and my office is connected to the media center, and you are welcome to come in there anytime. You're gonna love it in there as well. So we are all, like I said, licensed school counselors, and we're part of something called the American School Counselor Association. We call it ASCA, and we help students with academics. We help them with their personal and social work, and we help them with their career in college planning. So we have this slide up here that kind of shows you some different things that we do. So your alphabet counselor will work with Mr. Hall to create your schedule. So they're the ones that have helped with that. They'll help you navigate classes. If you're struggling in a class, they're going to be there to help you with that. They'll help you if you need to find a tutor, maybe. They'll connect you that way. If you're having a rough day, something tough happened, and you're just not able to stay in class at that given moment, you can go to your counselor and they can help you with that as well. And then all of us definitely help you with your future planning, your career and college planning. But my role is a little bit different. I work with the personal growth plan in the district. So we want all students to leave high school with a plan. We want them all to be ready for that first thing after high school. And some people think, well, how can a high school kid know what they want to do? If they're too young to do that, they shouldn't have to do that. And we think that we don't want to plan your whole entire life. We just want to help you figure out, how do you make that next step? What's your next step after high school? What's the first step after high school? So we all help you with that as well. If you go to the next slide, this shows the district's picture of the personal growth plan. And you can see that in each grade, as we move from stage to stage, we're here to help you with that navigation as well. In high school, if you go to the next slide, we do curriculum each year we call it PGP work. I like to call it career and college readiness work as well, so I kind of have that up there. We do standards-based curriculum for all grades, and this is not super time intensive. I like to say, if you can really dedicate 5 hours per year, not per week or month, per year, you're gonna have a really great start on what you need to do for after high school. Because in all of your classes, you're doing this work as well, but specific work in your personal growth plan is gonna be about 5 hours per year. In ninth grade, we have 4 main things that we do. So you do your first career cluster activity to kind of get you started. That's what we do right away first trimester, and we help you set a goal to start high school. That's all you do first trimester. Then we help you to think about classes you can take during high school to help you earn college credit. That's second trimester during registration time. And then third trimester, we talk about, okay, we've almost made it through a year of high school. What do we want our life to look like after this? What are some more goals I can make? So we kind of help you with that path as well. So those are really, really easy, fun activities that you can do. These are all found in Canvas, so you'll see that when you get the app, students as well, all the work is in Canvas. We also use a product called Naviance, which is a career and college readiness tool to help us with that. And then as you move through high school, if you do all these steps that I'm saying, you're gonna be ready for college. You're gonna be ready to apply if that's what you choose to do. One last thing before I go, we would like all students during high school to come to at least one college rep visit in the Career Center. You can come to as many as you would like. Nick, maybe you can touch on that when you speak. You're so great. He's in the Career Center quite a bit. So you get to meet these people, you get a sense of what you can do. So come to one, it's just one total, so in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, or you can come to as many as you'd like, but at least one. And then at least one career speaker. We have a really great relationship with the Bloomington business community, and they give us a lot of opportunities. So they're gonna be here on different speakers on Thursdays during the academic seminar time. So the career speakers are during that time. College speakers are all over the board. They're here all the time, pretty much all day, every day. And then students can figure out what fits with their schedule. So we're super excited, you guys. It's gonna be fun. Stop in anytime and say hi. Next, we have Diana Ekstrom. She is our school nurse.
I already have one. Welcome, good evening. That's kind of frightening to see that picture of myself in life-size form. So welcome, everybody. Again, I'm Diana Ekstrom. I'm one of the school nurses here at Jefferson High School. I'm very fortunate to have this be my 5th year here. There is 3 nurses that are employed here at Jefferson, so at any given time there is 2 of us in the health office every hour that your child or you are here. We are here to help you if you're feeling ill during the school day, if your child or you need a daily medication for whatever your medical diagnosis is, you need medical, like emergency medical care, you have emergency medication in the health office, we're here to help out. As in every other Bloomington Public School, we need a authorization form for any medication. If you're new to the district, even if you're self-carrying such as an inhaler, we still need a form. We are located right next to the counseling office. Again, we are here all day long, every day. I'm going to be here this evening if you have any questions that you would like to come and ask me that's more of a private conversation. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I know you might have some other questions regarding COVID. But again, Diana Ekstrom, two of us here all day long, so come and ask if you have any questions. I'm here for the rest of the week if you want to call me, if you want to have a private conversation, if you need to come into the health office to drop off any medication, I'm here for you. Thank you very much.
Wasn't moving anymore. So, as Diana mentioned, we know a very timely and sensitive topic right now in schools across the country, state, local, is COVID. This is not normally a slide we have, available on this night, but obviously we know the world that we're living in. So I wanted to share a few things that Jefferson High School, Bloomington Public Schools are doing related to COVID. If you went to one of our middle schools last year, you're probably somewhat familiar with some of these strategies already. So when we made this slide last week, the masking policy was different, as you probably know. That changed this afternoon to all staff and students will be masked while inside the school building. I know that's a sensitive topic. I know not everyone agrees, but that is the current policy, and that is, of course, what we will support and follow here at Jefferson High School. We like came in this evening. We will always provide masks, disposable cloth, etc., etc. If a student forgets it, you don't have to go home and get something. We got you when you walk in. It's okay. Other protocols that we have: hand sanitizer stations spread throughout the building. Every room and meetings, every classroom and gathering space has some of these high-powered like HEPA filters that circulate there. So that's really, really nice. Common question is lunch. Last year there was distancing at lunch. This year there is no distancing requirement as of now. So as of now, we will not be spreading out the lunchroom. So that's a common question that people have been wondering. Masks, yes. Distancing as of now, no. And that this current rule applies to while inside the building. So if you've got outdoor gym, outdoor football game, we're going to do an outdoor pet fest this year. Outdoor activities, a mask is not required. Encouraged, but not required. I know there are probably questions around this, but please, again, we are probably only got about 7-8 minutes left until we move on to our Q&A session. So that is our COVID response as of now. Thank you. Coming up next is our school liaison officer, Detective Erica Brown. We work closely with Bloomington Police Department. They are great partners. And her job, and she's going to say this, so I don't want to steal too much of her speech, her job is to support students, support families. She does not do school discipline. She does not patrol hallways. She does not look for nefarious activities in the school. She is a support mechanism for us, for you, and her job is, I don't want to talk too much, Detective Erica Brown.
Pretty much what he said. So I'm a police officer with Bloomington. I've been a police officer for about 11 years, and detective is a new role. I got it pretty much like yesterday. So I'm new to this school, to this business. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm excited to be here. I've done a couple different roles in the police department, but this is one that I've been wanting to do for a couple years. So, but yeah, like Jason said, I'm not here to patrol. I'm here as a resource for students, for parents. My main mission is to make sure that we promote and maintain a safe learning environment for everybody at the school. So if you ever see me in the hallways, please stop by, say hi, introduce yourself. I'd love to get to know everybody. And yeah, if you have any questions about anything, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I should have mentioned earlier, she is not stationed here. She co-stationed out of the Bloomington Police Station office. So she's here probably 60 to 70% of the time. So again, if you need her, call her. If she's not there that day or that moment, she certainly will be back at some point. We'll get her connected. So one of the things that we love about Jefferson High School is just empowering student voice, student leadership. We're all about giving kids some courageous opportunities to be leaders and put their voices out there. One of my favorite things as an educator, principal of a high school especially, is they come in like ninth graders. You look at your ninth grader and they still, many of them little, and like, they're so young. No, they're just left middle school. And then they leave and they're like 6'4", or whatever, and then you're here for 5 years, they're already graduated college and in careers and all that sort of stuff. So that's a very fun kind of just thing for an educator to watch that transformation from young person to basically an adult ready to conquer the world. So we've got two young adults about ready to conquer the world, sharing their experience, a little bit about Jefferson, Nick Wynn and Skylar Strudwick.
Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. My name is Skylar Strudwick. I am one of your student council co-presidents. There's two of us. I think I already said I'm in 12th grade. I do show choir here, and theater, and tennis. I saw a whole bunch of things. And yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Nick Wynn, and I'm your past.
The mics are to each other. Don't say both to each other. The mics are. There you go.
Hi guys, my name is Nick Wynn, and I'm the Pathfinder president. I'm very thrilled to welcome all of you this week actually, to our orientation that will be happening on September 2nd. I'm at Jefferson, I'm involved in tennis. I'm also involved in robotics and French club, and I'm also looking to start my own history club here.
Sweet. We have some more questions up on the board. Both Nick and I are very involved in the school, so I feel like we know a fair amount. Two things that have helped me achieve success here at Jefferson would be probably having like a solid group of people, like resources that I can go to. Because school starts and it's very stressful, but if you have those for a couple people, it's very nice. And the second thing would probably be to stay on top of things, like workload wise, because it really piles up very quickly.
So my favorite thing about being a student here at Jefferson are the great teachers that we have in the building. They're always here to support you, whether you're taking AP Calc or something more simple. They're always here to support you, and they truly believe in you, and they believe in your success.
Sweet. When I first started, I was very I need to do all my grades right. I have to stay on top of everything. It was very stressful. I would say my best advice for you would be to chill. I guess just take it easy, because it's very stressful in the beginning. If you let it be stressful, I guess my best advice would be just not to take yourself so seriously, because it's like high school. It's a big thing, but it's not that big of a thing. So just chill with it,
Like Skylar said, I believe my best advice for you guys would be to stay on top of things. I know it's just you're just starting right now, but your grades in your freshman year truly matter, because your GPA is built upon those years as well.
Sweet. That was Nick and Skylar. There's a lot of resources, especially upperclassmen, because both you guys and the sophomores are coming in very new. So any of us in the hallway, if you see us, you can just ask us stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Excellent. So last slide, so we're almost at that point, timing-wise. I think we're pretty solid here. Just some questions that we know come up, especially for new to high school families and students. Common one is, how much homework can I expect? They certainly made it seem like quite a bit, and it might, depending on your course load. So what I would say to this, there's no exact formula, of course. Depends on the time of year, depends on the course. If your student takes several, 2 or 3 advanced AP or honors courses, you can expect probably, an hour to, an hour and a half a night. Not every night probably, but 3-4 days a week. If there's a lot of, mixture of honors and general courses, 30 minutes to an hour. And if it's all just standard courses, which again, nothing wrong with standard courses. I never took one AP or honors class in high school in my entire life. And I've got a doctorate now, so I don't know how that all works. But the point being is that balance is key. I think they kind of mentioned balance, but homework, it depends. But of course, if you take AP and honors, you will certainly see more of that. Flex spaces, this used to be a newer topic, but I think even if you went to Olson or Oak Grove Middle School, they have some flex spaces, so you may be more used to this. As you do your tour, you're going to see several areas outside of classrooms with couches and soft seating and high tops and tables. So that's spaces that our classrooms can use to spread out, to use for group work, to do project-based learning in, to send groups of kids when they're finished with work. And the nice thing about our flex spaces is even though they're big and spread out, they're always supervised either by adults or by our camera system that's always being monitored. So again, high school, a little bit more independence, guided and supervised independence, but a little bit more of that. So you'll see that as you do your tour. Cell phones, electronic devices also comes up quite a bit as far as what's our rule, what's our policy. We know our students need to leave high school with a way to live with devices, because of course once they go to college, once they go to the workforce, there's going to be no one to tell them to put their phone away. So we want to help train them and help them learn how to live with these things. But to that end, 9th grade is often a no cell phone in the classroom experience. Silent, keep them silent. Keep them on, you can keep them silent. If there's violations of that, Ms. Alberg and her team will come and visit in a very non-threatening way. But as students get older, 11th and 12th grade, there's a lot less of kind of cell phone monitoring. But 9th grade, you can really expect no cell phones in classrooms, common spaces, lunch, before it's after school, that's fine. Grading, we do use a summative formative balance. 80-20 is our balance, which means 80% of the student's grade should come from the summative category. And summatives, for those who are not in education lingo, big stuff, tests, projects, major essays, that sort of thing. So your homework, your daily stuff, should account for only 20% of the grade. Graduation requirements, students do need 65 credits to graduate by the end of 4 years. Students have 18 credits, an opportunity for 18 credits per year, which is 72 credits in totality. So we don't encourage any missed credits, but there's a little bit of wiggle room. So 65 credits spread throughout a lot of required in specific subjects. Final exams, this could be your first experience with final exams. I think they used to be scarier than they are now. They're still a big deal, but we do run finals at the end of each trimester. There's a 2-day schedule, so it'll be almost like a block schedule. Finals day 1, class periods 1, 3, and 5. Class periods 2, 4, and 6 on the next day. And finals days, we do end early, so that's a good thing to kind of note in this calendar. We end early on those days. I think we dismiss at 12:45 or so. Building hours got touched on a little bit before and after. First hour starts at 7:50. Most kids show up at about 7:30. You can get here earlier. There'll be not a lot happening. It'll be pretty boring. But 7:30 is kind of the target time. Buses drop off between 7:20 and 7:30. First hour starts at 7:50. The day ends at 2:14 or 2:37, depending if it's a block day or a 6-period day. And then after school, we're open for a full hour. What I mean by open is our media center, our flex spaces, our cafeteria. It's all open to kind of hang out, study, do whatever you got to do. And then at 3:30, we start to shut it down. If you're still waiting for rides, you got to kind of sit by this front entrance a little bit. We don't kick anybody out in the cold, but at 3:30, we start to kind of close those main spaces down. But a full hour after school to socialize, mill about, what have you. And then if you need help, many people have mentioned it. One of my favorite things about this school is how accessible and welcoming the adults are. You will not find an adult that turns a kid away saying, I don't have time, or this isn't my problem. Any adult will help you. Stop and help them. Our upperclassmen, again, I think this has gotten better in generations. The older classmen are not here to challenge, harass, intimidate, this is ours, any of that. They're here to help. They want to have a great crop of future leaders. So there are so many people you can turn to. That there's so many choices. So at that point, we are only about 2 minutes late. We are now going to move on to our next session here. So Ms. Jarvis will do some yelling from the back, I believe, but students, you're going to be getting up and going to your tour sessions. Parents, you're going to stay here. Parents, guardians, family members, you're going to stay here and ask some time for questions. So Ms. Jarvis?
So students, you should have a ticket from earlier. When you go out in the hallway right behind me here, you're going to find your tour that matches to your ticket number. So you can exit behind me here and find your tour.
Ms. Jarvis, where will their families meet their students? Could she hear me? Is she on the hall? Will they end in the cafeteria or flag hall? Did I just not read this line? It says, yes, that was a test. Good job. All right, so question time. I know a lot of information, so naturally some of it might be new and surprising, some of it might seem pretty standard for how schools operate. But, so I would say this to the questions. We'll have Mr. Hall walk around with the mic. I think Ms. Jarvis has absconded with it. There he is. He'll walk around, so just raise hands. We'll do your best to repeat the question with the mic so everyone can hear it. And the only thing I would say is that questions should hopefully be should be general to maybe multiple students. If it's a very specific, my student has this course question, or my student has this medical question, I think we would do that after this is over with a one-on-one conversation. So maybe more broad and could apply to multiple people type questions. But with that being said, I'm a little nervous, but let's open it up to questions. All right, we got one, Mr. Hall, Twin Cities and Vikings, Twin Cities, Twins and Vikings. He's representing Minnesota sports.
One of the questions was about the assistant principal versus the dean of students' responsibility. So one covered A to Z, and then there was two split up for the other portions. What kind of responsibility differences are there?
Good question. Dean of students, and she works with a team called the sport team. Not a great name. But so their main role is all of this kind of small and medium stuff that students might need help with. So student discipline for sure, but it's generally the small things to help students be successful. If students have a conflict, like there's some gossip, beef going on between the two, they would meet with the students, help resolve it. They would do minor discipline issues, but that's their primary job, is just working with students. While Mr. Hall and Ms. Allward would deal with higher level disciplinary issues in that alpha, and not even necessarily discipline, could be support, could be more complex situations. They also have a variety of other leadership responsibilities throughout the building that I asked them to do.
I had one more question, sorry. So for the PGP 9.1234, I didn't quite understand how that happens. Is that something they do out of school, online, or how does that occur?
That's a good question. So what we do is we'll send that out to families and students ahead of time. And one thing is, anything that we create that we send to show all students, I'll also send you guys. So for example, Ms. Jarvis mentioned the handbook video. We make she mentioned we covered the handbook. We make a short handbook video with highlights. I will also send that to you. So anything that I create and send to all students, I will always share with you as well. To that end, we do have an advisory time throughout the day, and so we will encourage students to work on their PGP activities through that advisory time, and then I'll also send reminders that those expectations are due. But students can do them at home, because they'll be open. They can do them during that advisory time. Again, it's pretty brief. It just wants to keep that career and college planning present in students' minds. So it can be done at home or at school. Thank you.
Hey Jason, nice suit.
Hi, thank you.
Hey, so I have a question
First
about...
one in like 6 months.
I have a question, of course, about COVID, shocking.
Sure, yep.
I want to know what your protocol is for number of cases. Like, how are you tracking the number of cases before you're going to go online? I would like to know the warning signs of going online.
Sure, that's a really good question. I think, right, going to mandatory masks, I think it automatically causes the fear of then what's the next thing. So one thing, and maybe she's nervous, she doesn't want to, is that we as principals get overall counts. We do not necessarily get specific student data. There's obviously privacy. I would say that these decisions are not made at the school level. There is a team at the district, a district medical health supervisor and a district emergency supervisor that leads the same folks that did it last year, that they would review the numbers and then they would collaborate with principals. So I think that they have, at this point, not established, like, this is a hard line. So like last year we heard a lot of like 30 cases per 10,000, things of that nature. I think that they're trying to be more fluid with that. The goal, and I guarantee, this is for sure the goal that I can speak for them and I can speak for myself, is to keep kids in school 5 days a week. If masks are what we gotta do, I know no one likes, well, few people like masks, and many don't want to make people do it. I don't want to make kids do it. Most are good with it, I get it, but if that's what we have to do to keep kids in 5 days a week, I think that is the primary goal of the school board superintendent, certainly myself. Follow up? Sure.
Yeah, I just have a quick follow-up. Are you gonna give parents any heads up or warning if you're gonna go that direction? Because obviously they didn't warn about the mask, so.
Sure. So, yes and no. Yeah, one is the no part is that as a line that I've used, and I even referenced it this morning when I met with staff about. Oh, I'm sorry. The question is, would families get a heads up if there were warning signs that a shift in learning was going to happen? I would say yes, that we, the district and schools, would communicate the case numbers are rising. Let's be mindful of masks and hand washing and distancing and that sort of thing. But I would also say that I've been following for the last year and a half of what I call a 2-week rule, which is I feel confident about the next 2 weeks. Anything past that, I feel like I'm just speculating. And this is a good example. We saw other school districts who had similar policies start to change in the last week, so I go, okay, maybe. And I find out a lot of this stuff. I find out when you guys find out, or maybe 30 minutes prior. So it's a yes and a no answer. But I guarantee you the goal is to keep kids in 5 days a week.
Hi, for those of us new to the district, how do we put money in the lunch account before the first day?
Yeah, so there is free lunches this year, again, which I love, and I wish that was every year. But lunch money deposits are not open yet because they don't free lunches. So the snack bar is really the only thing that will cost money, and they don't open that for the first month. There's been some shipping delays, I guess, in many industries, including food. So they won't even open the snack bar for the first month. So once they do, we will then communicate with students and families. Here's how to deposit money.
I just have a quick question about the orientation on Thursday.
Yes.
Is that like a drop-in situation, or should they expect to be here the whole time? Are parents supposed to come?
Good question. Whole time, parents. It's not harsh. No, you're not. You're not welcome. No. No. It's just kids. Just kids. And it's nice. It's not a mandatory event, but it's a really nice event to meet their classmates. Again, we've been a lot of distance and a lot of computers for the last year and a half, so it's a nice opportunity to meet their classmates. Meet like 55, 60 older classmates that will help lead the way. So it's not required, but it's nice, but they should expect us to be there the whole day. Thank you. There's one here, yep, and then I see back there.
Going back to the topic of COVID,
yes.
What are the quarantining guidelines?
Good.
Do you want me to answer that one?
Sure. I mean, I could, but you're the better person, so. Our health officials have really done so much heavy lifting over the last year and a half. They've been amazing, so I know there's been a lot of pressure on it.
So I'm actually back here at Jefferson. I was unfortunately a COVID-19, I say unfortunately, I was a contact tracer last year, so I learned a lot about COVID, but the guidelines have changed. The Bloomington School District is adopting where we were always, last year we were 14-day quarantine. This year, if you are exposed, it is a 7-day quarantine if you get a negative COVID test between the 5th day to 7th day, or it is 10 days if you have no symptoms, you can come back. That is after exposure. Quarantine is not working like it did last year. Teachers are not doing seating charts. We are sending positive students home only to isolate. We're not quarantining the students that are in the classrooms with a positive person, just because through the research we have found out that there was very little spread in the classrooms. So a little bit different. So that's 5 to 7 days. You would get if you get a negative COVID test after you're exposed, you can come back on that 7th day. If you have no symptoms and you don't have a test, you can come back after 10 days, or you can just stay the whole 14 days.
If they're vaccinated or wearing their mask.
So, yes. So thank you, Mr. Anderson. So if an individual is vaccinated, if any of your students are vaccinated and they're exposed, they do not need to quarantine. So the Minnesota Department of Health does have a website. It's called the Minnesota Immunization website that I, as a school nurse, have the authority, because it's a public record, to look up your child's vaccination records. So if you want to just even call me and tell me that your child has COVID-19 vaccine, I can put it into our Infinite Campus, or if at a time of exposure, I can look that up. So, any other questions that maybe I can answer right now regarding COVID before I hand the mic back? Awesome.
No.
Oh. Go ahead. Exposure is 15 minutes, 6 feet or closer. So, and also if you have family members, if you had a family member in your home that has COVID, then the family, if they're not vaccinated, then they do have to quarantine. So, unvaccinated have to quarantine. Anybody in your home, if someone has COVID and you're vaccinated, you do not need to quarantine.
And I believe, even if you're unvaccinated, that if you're wearing a mask properly and you're exposed, am I correct with that, or
well, we're not sending kids home.
Okay.
But if you have an exposure usually I have a big enough mouth, people can hear me. We're not going to, anybody in a classroom, it's gonna be on a case-by-case basis. If you have a family member that your child has COVID, you will be contacted by a contact tracer, and they will go through an interview, and if you let us know, like, oh, Jimmy was staying overnight, we might contact that other parent and not be, we have to follow HIPAA laws as well. So we have to be very private about information. But if you had a student in, say, a science class, if your student was in a science class, and there was another student that had tested positive to COVID-19, that doesn't mean that they're exposed and they have to quarantine. Hopefully I explained that okay. Okay. Go ahead.
It doesn't really matter if they were vaccinated or not, because the quarantine is not required either way.
Correct, unless it's deemed, again, case-by-case basis, unless it was deemed that your child was definitely a close contact and had the exposure. Like last year, you were within 6 feet. Elementary schools, if they were in the classroom, they had to quarantine. This year, that's not the case. So it's really all handled on a case-by-case basis. But if you hear, word spreads fast, that your child comes home and they say that somebody in your science class had COVID, that doesn't mean that your child's going to be quarantined. We do, effective yesterday, I believe it was, there is a new testing site in Bloomington at the DMV. So they're open Sunday through Thursday, I believe, 11 to 6. So testing is just another mitigation strategy. We talk about masks. Masks aren't the end all. Testing, distance, keeping your kids home safe, ventilation, washing your hands. So we just all have to work on this together. Let's get rid of this dang pandemic. We're sick of it.
Over here.
So if a child is quarantined, then are the teachers going to be doing the simultaneous teaching again with some in the classroom and then broadcasting that for those at home?
So if a student is, so I'll say this, I'm going to kind of reverse the question a little bit. If a student is quarantined, the teacher will not be doing a simulcast view of the classroom for a variety of reasons. The teacher will work directly with that student. This is very similar to how we would do students with severe illnesses prior to this, is we would connect them. That's the helpful thing with the Canvas page and the Canvas sites. The resources there, the teacher would work with those students, but there will not be a direct simulcast of the classroom. Again, the hope and the presumption is that there will be far less quarantines and certainly far less mass quarantines this year. I'm sure there will be some, but hopefully we can keep it very, very minimal. So your students probably will be back in 2 to 3 minutes. I certainly want to honor if there's any other questions. But if your kid is, we have one there.
Okay, so off of the COVID stuff, let's get into some activities. LGBTQA+, is there a activity group for that, or groups for that? What's the support for that?
Yep, so yes, there absolutely is. So when there's clubs, which is what that historically has been as far as the specific student organization you're talking about, clubs are all student driven. What I mean by student-driven is that a teacher or administrator wouldn't create a club on their own or facilitate a club. They try to work with students to create a club or student organization. So in most of my 5 years, we've had a GSA organization. There has been, I think maybe it was even the year prior to last year where it didn't organize itself or didn't have membership at that particular year for whatever reason. But inclusion support, this is obviously when we talk about bullying, harassment, the need to feel safe and welcome and seen and valuable, that is obviously a huge priority for us. We make sure that our students know that expectation, that our adults model that, and that student voice, student wants, not wants, but student needs is elevated. And when it is students need community and support, we will be there. Got one so I got one up here and I got one way in the back. She got a baby, so.
What's the earliest that students have access to the school?
It's so funny you ask that because we did debate whether we should just post it because we want to encourage it. Technically 6 a.m. Custodians open the door at 6 a.m. There is essentially no other staff at 6 a.m. other than custodial crew. Admin generally roll in around 7. Most teachers about 7:15. We have cameras rolling, but technically 6 a.m.
So do the new students get their Chromebooks at the Thursday orientation? And if they can't go to that, is there another time you want them to get them? And then this $5 technology donation, is there someone to give that to tonight? Or?
So yes, Ms. Jarvis will collect that. So 2 things, so that's that. The other one is Chromebooks. We handed out at Jumpstart last week, not everyone can make that of course. They'll get them the first day of school. They'll get them the first day of school. That's true. That's a good point. Our media center is open. Students can come this week. That's a really good point. I shouldn't have thought of that. Glad you were here. So yes, if your kid did not get your Chromebook for whatever reason, they can come in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Our building's open. We're having obviously staff workshop. Media center's open. Maybe 1 or 2 more general questions. Kids are starting to come back. Of course, if you need to leave, you got to leave. Over there, Mr. Hall. We're about. Yeah, it's okay. They're good questions.
Could you clarify again for about lunches? What did you say for the first month? They would not have access to the accounts to put money on it?
Sure. So lunches this entire year are going to be free. Free for all students, which is awesome. I wish that was every year, really every year. Oh. The first month thing was we have like a hot, we have a main course line, an alternative line. Those are all going to be free. We also have what we call Snack Attack, which is what sounds like cookies. Okay, that's what won't be open for the first month.
Okay.
And then when that is open, then we'll send information to kids and families of how to put money in. You can also use cash, but that's the one thing I was referencing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. The last one is, all right, I pointed at you, so you get your question.
I just wanted to ask about maybe direct communication as far as all the activities, like sports and all that. How do we, is it up to us to go to a website or, will they reach out to us as newbies not knowing all the awesome sports and activities that are available?
Spot on question. If you want to go over to Ms. Hull, and then I'll be the last one. So, right there in that kind of turquoise deal. So, number 1, direct contact. There's a little bit of you doing the reaching out. There's a website, athletics and activities. It's Castle in the activities office. But, so yes, that you can go, kids, you can go right now and go look at all the things. We have all the contact information. In addition to that, though, is the second week of school, we do what's called an activity fair, where all of the freshmen come down to our gymnasium and all the activities with sports have booths for information and recruiting and what have you. So that's another awesome thing. You get to see all the different things that they may just didn't know that we had. All right, last question of the evening.
My question is about the career counseling. I love it, by the way. I wish I had it in my high school. I was just wondering, because not that my nephew's a freshman, he's a good kid. He just will forget to say things. Do you guys send information about who is going to be the colleges that are going to come and the career people that are going to come to the parents so that we can kind of
nudge
see
them.
if they should go.
Yeah, yes, we do. That's going back to the original communications piece, is that there can be a lot of communication. Even though kids in other schools, like, you can get a lot of communication, but yes, we will send out those informations of who our spotlight speakers and career speakers are, usually on a weekly basis. Well, it was nice talking with y'all. Good to get to know you guys. Much appreciated you all coming. People watching digitally, thank you for paying attention. Any questions for individually? We're happy to stick around for a little while. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Welcome to Jefferson.